Yes, what is going on? It is your boy. It is me, Mr. Aubrey. All right. So let's get into this. We're gonna do another unsolved case coming out of my hometown, Hot Springs. And I'm gonna tell you that again, there's a lot way more cold cases than expected. With some of them probably never be resolved anyway, just based upon just the nature of just how people are in Hot Springs and all of that. And I did one with Christy Yates, and hopefully they are moving on that case because that. I'll be honest with you. I just think now the more I think about it, the more ridiculous it is that that case hasn't been resolved. So I want to do this one. I'm gonna be honest with you. I will tell you up front. I have no knowledge about this person. However, I did have a interaction with this person at one point. Okay, peeps. And I want to say this had to have been in 2012. So I want you to keep 2012 in your back of your mind while you watch this video. Okay, keep that year in mind. Anyways, let's get into this. Okay. Yeah, I want you to keep 2012 in the back of your head.
Just over 9 years ago, Katie Lavender's mother got a knock on the door with news that no parent could ever imagine receiving. Her daughter had been killed.
The case had a few leads at first, but eventually went cold. But now police have new evidence to share with the public and a new suspect.
And tonight, TV11's Sarah Habakowitz shows us how this case is moving one step closer to being solved.
Interesting. Now I wanna also say something too. When I first heard about this happening, it was the year that she got killed. I think she got killed in 2013. No. It wasn't a year of. It was. I'm sorry. It was. I didn't hear about this until probably 2017, 2016, 2017. So when I found this, I was like, oh. And the reason why this name stuck out to me is because the last name Lavender. I love that name. I was like, Katie Lavender. That is whoever did that was genius. All right, your parents were genius for naming you that. But there wasn't a whole lot about the case. Very minimum. This here is supposed to give us new information. And again, I told you, keep 2012 in the back of your head because this was the year I had an interaction with this person. I'll get more into detail about this. But keep this in mind because there was a lot of shit that I found out about this and it just blew my mind. And then, no disrespect, but I'm gonna give you my commentary on some things. This is someone that does have a daughter. Keep that energy. Let's go. Let's do this.
Her mom describes her as a bookworm and a writer that can make anyone laugh.
She had a lot of friends. She don't think she did, but she did. It's because, everybody taught her, thought she was super cool.
In 2013, Katie Lavender had just moved to Hot Springs and was still getting settled in the city. She worked full-time at the local Xerox store near the Oaklawn racetrack, walking.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop here. I want to say something. Two things. Number one, first thing first, do not move to fucking Hot Springs. I don't care if you have sick family. You better move your sick family to wherever you're at. Do not move to Hot Springs. Okay. I just showed you 2 cases now of cold that's been unsolved, cold cases. Do not move to Hot Springs, okay? You all need to really do your research and digging into Hot Springs. You're going to find that Hot Springs has a certain type of energy. See, as a tourist, you're not going to see this energy. But you will be educated on some things, but they're not going to tell you the whole truth about what happened in Hot Springs, right? Do not move to Hot Springs. Secondly, they say that she worked at, so the place that she worked is actually the same place that I worked. In fact, I would say that if I had to throw out a number, I'm gonna say about 70% of people there has worked at this Xerox place, right? It was one of the only places that you didn't have to have a whole huge heap of skills, and it was full-time work. I found that interesting that she worked there, but she couldn't have worked there very long. But let's keep going.
Among big crowds during the racing season. But on March 19th of that year,
it was a Tuesday evening. We were actually at work. It was about 6 o'clock in the evening when we got the call of a possible deceased person at 615 Higdon Ferry.
At just 20 years old, Katie was found dead in her apartment. Detective Mark Fallis of Hot Springs Police was one of the first to arrive on scene.
Everyone's a suspect in these kind of cases, so we look into everyone. And anyone that's had contact, or especially during that time frame.
That includes the strange phone calls before her death and the last place she was seen, on a walk downtown captured by local security cameras.
You can see an individual walk down, he talks to who we believe is Katie, and then both of them proceed up to the white car, get in the white car, and pull out on the Central Avenue and head toward Katie's apartment.
As officers asked for the public's help in finding that car's owner, they also spoke to witnesses, starting with the person who found Katie's body.
Katie's boyfriend was there. He came to the police department, gave us a statement.
Police say her boyfriend was upset at first and cooperated well enough, but Katie's mother, Melba, says that's not how it went for her.
He wouldn't talk to me. They said he was too tore up to talk to me about it.
But Melba says she didn't trust it at the time, and her daughter's boyfriend still won't speak to her.
I told him before if anything ever happened to her, I was coming looking for him.
That uneasy feeling and Katie's move to Hot Springs mostly came after some questionable events in that romantic relationship.
Now, I want y'all to really pay attention to what they're about to say here. And I told you to keep 2012 in the back of your head, because this is the same time, around the same time that I started talking to her. This had been like January, February. I don't think it was March. I think it was around, it's close to, well, it probably would have been around March. I'm sure it was around February, March, because it was not, definitely wasn't hot. It was cool. The daytime, it was good enough to where you could go outside and actually stay outside. I want y'all to keep in mind, I'm going to point out some things here, if I can remember them. Because there's some things, first off, whoever killed her, she knew these people. Again, another person who just randomly just get into someone's car, that shit don't happen in Hot Springs. Even though she wasn't from Hot Springs, the shit just doesn't happen, okay? Even though she was an adult, we just don't get in strange ass people's cars, okay? So I want to point that out there. But pay attention.
2 years before Katie's murder, a scandal in Arkadelphia involved the pair and a local lawyer, leading to all three
all arrested for solicitation of prostitution.
Court documents show the lawyer pled guilty for sexual solicitation of Katie.
Now, keep in mind, I want y'all to look at this, peeps. This happened, okay, in 2011. I said keep 2012 in the back of your head. They said that this happened in Arkadelphia. Again, just let y'all know something, okay? She went to Henderson State, but we're not going to get into that. This right here shocked the hell out of me. Never heard about this. Never knew anything about this. But let's keep watching.
And her boyfriend. The lawyer received some jail time and a fine, and his license to practice law was temporarily suspended.
Of course, in my mind at that point, of course it could have been a motive.
But that lawyer had an alibi away from the crime scene on the night that Katie was killed.
But running down that lead, we couldn't find anything that linked to that.
So, what happened that March night?
The details around her death, can you tell me anything about that?
No, ma'am. Anything that happened inside that apartment, there's going to be two people that know about it. That's the person who did it and myself.
Keeping the details private in hopes that anyone truly involved in Katie's death slips up in an interview and shares information they wouldn't have otherwise known. But who could have that information? And who was driving that car? Detectives thought new DNA technology could help get those answers.
I believe that whoever she got in the car with, that is potentially their DNA at that house. And that is potentially their fingerprint at that house.
But it was only a partial print, and the DNA didn't match any past arrests in the country.
This DNA has already been through the Arkansas State Crime Lab and is in CODIS.
Detectives still wanted to further analyze the DNA they had, but it's relatively new technology that takes a lot of time and money.
I want to say something. I am very happy that they did what they did. They took the DNA, and this is I don't know who he is. If he's a lead detective in this case, he's did a good ass damn job preserving the DNA evidence, okay? I'm telling you right now, we're going to get to a point where you're not going to be able to commit crimes. It's going to be almost damn near, you got to be almost a damn near master. In fact, the term assassin will probably make its way up if you're going around killing people and getting away with it. I'm telling you right now, DNA is getting so advanced, you're not going to be able to commit no damn crime, peeps. They literally can take, and I'm going to tell you how advanced DNA has advanced. If they suspect a person, even if that person is deceased, all you got to do is go get, y'all like to throw your trash out on the street. That becomes public property now. So all you gotta do is take something that you put your lips on, may have eaten. If you like to eat with plastic spoons, they can just take that plastic spoon, they can extract your DNA. And when they extract your DNA, they can detail it to your family tree and then zero in on people in your family till they find the suspect. That's how advanced DNA has got, peeps. But shout out to him for preserving this, because he did something I would never have thought that someone in Hot Springs would do. He did a good ass job with this.
So while the department started that process,
We've, exhausted our leads.
until this year, the results came back, finally putting a face, be it computer generated, to whoever's DNA was at the scene.
And this is a computerized. So he basically sent this DNA to a private company. There's a couple of them, and they can actually take the DNA and actually construct a facial. Matter of fact, I think it's gotten too advanced to where they can construct not just a face, but the body of what the person looks like. And I will tell you that based upon what I've seen in the past, it is pretty damn accurate. Okay. Damn accurate. So let's keep it moving.
Parabon Labs does what they call a phenotype snapshot.
But when the image came back,
Once I got the picture, it's actually, in a way, it's disappointing.
with 93% confidence, Parabon reported the DNA on Katie's body was from a Latino man, a description that didn't match the main persons of interest so far.
What does it feel like to you to see that face? No, that's the person you're looking for.
It's frustrating.
Yeah.
It's very frustrating. That's the person who I need.
The composite shows what the suspect would look like as a 25-year-old, but his current age is still unknown. The DNA test also indicated with high confidence the suspect as someone with brown hair, no freckles, and brown or hazel eyes.
Are you hopeful that this is a new lead in this case that hasn't had one in so long?
For now, yes. there is some hope there.
And also a lot of questions.
A lot of questions.
A lot of questions, and no one ruled out.
I have not cleared anybody.
Once again, turning to the public's help to identify the man in the photo that no one seems to recognize, as Katie's mother pushes forward.
Every time you think about her, it comes all back.
Do you think about her a lot?
Yeah, I do.
And all search for justice.
There's somebody out there that knows, and I wish they'd start talking.
Wow.
Okay. Let me see.
All right, Sarah, joining us here tonight. Sarah, tell us about this new DNA evidence.
Yeah, I asked the detective about that technology. It's pretty interesting, and he says the labs that run these special tests can actually broaden their search and find not only the suspect, but family members of that suspect.
Yep.
And as you can imagine, it's all pretty complicated. So I have reached out to the lab and tried to explain it in a story later this month.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and hit out of that. So, why is this significant when it comes to law, right? So, I told you to keep 2012 in the back of your head. So, back in 2012, at the end, like I said, it was the early part of 2012, I actually talked to Katie. And how did I talk to her? You ask. POF. She was on a dating site. POF. Me and Harold talked. Okay. And I remember, the only thing I remember about her, one, she was in Henderson State. She went to Henderson State. She was living on campus. I don't remember what she said her major was. I remember her liking anime, which is also the reason why I continued talking to her. Keep in mind that I was talking to this person. She was on POF. Okay. They just read a story that said that her boyfriend, and some lawyer, got mixed up in some shit, right? So she had a boyfriend all along. It makes sense because we were supposed to meet the next day. I was supposed to go down to Henderson State, but I never heard from her. Okay. Now, with that being said, a couple of things about this story. Number one, the suspect, Hispanic, I'm not surprised by. I'm gonna be blunt with you. I do think that she probably met somebody, maybe him. I don't know if he was on a dating site, but somehow she has some sort of ties with this guy, right? An Hispanic guy. I could probably see that. If I recall, I think she was a Taurus, right? Am I right about that? Is she a Taurus? But I don't see. So since they got the DNA evidence and they got the suspect, I don't think the guy lives in Hot Springs. I think he may have visited, but again, they knew each other somehow. And I would venture to say that maybe they met maybe at Oaklawn, because where her apartments was at, you literally can walk to Oaklawn literally every day. Now, they said her body was found. She was found killed inside her apartment. She has a boyfriend. The boyfriend reported it. There was no details about that, and I get it because they want to see if someone's going to slip up. The boyfriend, as far as I know, has become uncooperative. There's a lot of people saying that they need to look at the boyfriend, but I'll be honest with you, I don't even think it was the boyfriend that did it. I think at the end of the day, this is my analysis. It's going to sound bad, but I think that she was basically online, just trying to date random guys. Again, I remember talking to her because again, she was on campus at Henderson State, and we were supposed to meet up. But again, I didn't hear nothing from her. And you probably can't find her profile on POF now. But if they did some forensic evidence, forensics, computer forensics, I'm sure they could find her profile, right? So she has a boyfriend, but yet she's on the internet, I guess, trying to date or whatever. It's kind of odd. Again, I never heard about no controversy about anything about being, going down there. So that's news to me. She didn't state that she had a boyfriend. She didn't say anything about having an ex or anything. That's the only thing that's the only relevance that she has when it comes to me. It's the fact that I try to talk to her. Okay. Like I said, I don't think the boyfriend knows the person. I don't even think he has any involvement in it. I think that he was just a boyfriend. If I had to guess, the fact that he probably assumed or thought maybe she cheated on him. Because again, here's another person that's getting into a car and we just think that it's random ass people. No, it's not random. She literally got into a car. She had to know these people, right? And she moved to Hot Springs. Now, why she moved to Hot Springs is beyond me. I guess maybe the boyfriend lived in Hot Springs. I don't know. But I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know if this is going to be resolved or not, peeps. I don't know. They have the DNA evidence. I think eventually something will happen, but I don't think it had anything to do with drugs. I personally think that she was online trying to meet up with guys. It's very common for a lot of people in Hot Springs, white girls especially, to meet Hispanic men. It's like and I could see her talking to a Hispanic guy. I can see that. And then this happens. So that's all I wanted to point out on this story. It's, again, another cold case. I think this one will be solved before the Christie one. One thing I want to say, closing. Fathers, if you are currently in your daughter's life, now I don't think she had, I don't know what her relationship with her dad was. She probably had no relationship. But we need to start teaching our kids to not just go getting in random ass people cars. Especially when you have more than one person and you're walking with the person to their car. Stop doing that shit. Unless you've known them for over a year, don't be getting in their car. Right? Stop it. This is a case where I think this is a case where she met some people online, dating site, and, had a boyfriend. She was found dead in her apartment, which is kind of odd, right? They said the car was headed towards her apartment. So she has a boyfriend and she's meeting people. This sounds like a romantic relationship type of issue, right? And I would say that this has happened. I've even had a situation happen to me where I met a girl online, went to what was supposedly her brother's house. And when I went inside of it, this is one of the reasons why I don't go to women's houses. I went inside, I looked around, and there was just some things that just felt out of place. I was looking at the living room wall. Listen, she said that she was staying with her brother and his wife. I know how wives are. The house was really clean, number one, so it was very clean. But with that being said, it almost looks as if there should have been pictures on the wall. And I went up to the wall just to kind of see I didn't see any like the wall was cleaner than the other side, other areas. I didn't see that. It looked like it could have been, you know, like I said, a picture. Like it seemed like there was spots on the wall where I could just put pictures, where pictures would go perfectly, but I couldn't tell. And of course, me and her ended up staying really late that night. But later on, I found out that she was married, and that was her husband's house. So again, and see, I could have been caught up in some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said, you know, that's why one of the reasons why I stopped going over women's houses, because I'm like, I'm not finna do this shit. You know, I think this is the same case here where she probably met someone online, invited them out to her place. Something happened, right? And I don't even know the time that she got into this car, was she found dead that same day? So, I don't even think it had anything to do with the lawyer either, or that scandal. That would be kind of weird, even to put a hit on her for what reason. That doesn't make sense to me. I don't think it happened, but I don't know. Let me know what y'all think. If y'all got any information, man, let them know. If you recognize that person, send a tip in. Anyways, I'm out. Peace.